Bernie Sanders giving a middle finger to moderate Democrats like John Fetterman, who are begging the socialist godfather to stay out of their primaries and reject the DSA's insane agenda.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Do you think I should take his advice? I probably won't. So John, not going to take your advice. We're going to work as hard as we can, not only to elect El Sayed, but Peggy Flanagan in Minnesota, and strong congressional candidates all over this country who have the guts to start taking on big money.
Meanwhile, Chuck Schumer and other Dems are trying to ignore the commie elephant in the room.
One of the things in that platform is to abolish the Senate and create a new unicameral House and Congress. Is it something that has a place, this type of policy position?
Democrats, from one end of the spectrum to the other, are going to be working to defeat Trump.
We're going to be accused of being everything from Marxist to socialist to communist, no matter what in the hell we do.
But the DSA has no interest in making nice.
We know that socialism is sensible, it's practical, and it's popular, and that is why our candidates are winning. That is why the establishment media is so confused.
People are like, oh yeah, well, I'm supposed to have that. Well, I deserve that. Well, why don't we have that? Don't we have that? Shouldn't we have that? Who gets that? And then it's like, oh, okay, well, that's the democratic socialism.
We got to support every tent pole of this big tent. And when that means supporting the vote blue no matter who.
All right, Jesse, before the show, you said this is your Friday. I just want to get through this. So I thought I would go to you first.
You're not supposed to say what I say in the break.
But you know what? I was thinking when I read...
I'm going to start doing this to you.
Go for
I think you have a lot more to lose.
Yeah, that is probably true. In the prompter, they described Sanders as a godfather, and it made me think that, like, he's like a godfather or a mafioso who says, I can't be responsible for my hothead henchmen. Like, it's like he doesn't have to answer for the young ones who are actually following through with these crazy beliefs.
Mm-hmm. And he's not really on safe ground yet. He already had one guy in Maine who left. He's toast. And so these other candidates, they may not even make it. They could lose in the primary. They could lose in the general. So this Bernie revolution, we're all excited about it because it's fun to cover, but it could crash early, and then he could again be the guy that everybody blames for the bombs. Cori Bush, listen to what she just said. She goes, what do we get? What do we deserve? Who gets what? It's the wrong attitude. It's not about what you get, it's what you give.
Oh. You don't even believe that.
But you know, you look at JFK, what did he say? The famous line, it's not what, you know the rest. That's my Biden impression. Oprah the other day. Now, everybody loves Oprah. She came out and she said these kids that want everything in their 20s, they don't want to work for it. When I was in my 20s and 30s, work, work, work around the clock. She's laughing at all these people that expect everything they want, they need, they deserve. That's not how you get it. You grind in your 20s and your 30s, and all of a sudden you have a house in your 40s and you have a beautiful life. That should be the message. Schumer can't deliver it. Schumer is almost, shouldn't say it, but he's almost in retirement. And as long as he's there, he's the only one keeping these guys in line. But he's not strong enough. You need a real man to keep these commies in line. And because there's no men in the Democrat Party that can say, no, get to work, this is what you have. You have chaos and people expecting things.
Mm-hmm. You know, Dana, the one I firmly believe that if Bernie threw his hat in the ring for 2028, even at the age of like 87 or whatever he would be at the time, he would get the nomination, wouldn't he?
Well, he would give Kamala Harris a real run for her money.
I think he would trounce her.
He might, yeah. And he's so mad over so many years. Remember, he has never had a real job. Yeah. He has always been in the Senate. And he came to New York City and he helped Mamdani become the mayor. Any Democrat can win here that wins the primary. Okay, so, and he wasn't even that close. It was that was like 51%. Let's talk about the Denver race, the woman who wants to abolish everything. She also is obviously going to win in that race. But let's talk about Michigan, because he talked about backing El Sayed. El Sayed, who's like, I'm not DSA. Mm-hmm. Why would he say that? Well, because he knows that even if he wins the primary, he has a very tough climb. Today, a poll came out, said he's up by 15 points over the other Democrat, Haley Stevens. Wow. However, in the general election, Syed loses to the Republican Mike Rogers by 15.
Wow.
So that's what Bernie is setting up for people like Schumer. And Harold has to take a deep breath because that's what's happening. And you think about the purple states of Michigan, even Wisconsin, where you have the gubernatorial candidate, Francesca Hong. She's going to be on Newsroom tomorrow. And so...
Use the joke I use.
I think I will. I'm going to lead with that.
Yeah, just say, you used to say this before, and you say this now. It's like there are two Hongs.
Yep.
And you know what they say about two Hongs?
Yep. I think I am going to lead with that.
Yes.
So cue that up, please.
And then use my transgender grandma joke.
Okay, great. Thanks. Oh, Nantucket.
Yes.
She was.
In case you missed it.
I got a great recall.
That was amazing. Harold, I want to touch on what Jesse brought up, which is when he's talking about Cori Bush, and I was like clued into that too, which keeps saying, what did we get? What do we get? The problem with the socialism is it relies on that assumption. They're saying they want people to expect to have things for nothing. It's a party of freebies.
Good to be with everybody. I said yesterday, and I've said for many days, that there's a strange, unorthodox streak going through the party, and I would argue the country in some ways, but it's manifesting itself here, where people think that you shouldn't have to work, that you shouldn't have to pay some dues to get to where Oprah is, to get to where Jesse is, to get to a point in life.
I'm not on Oprah level yet.
To achieve the things you want to achieve in life.
You're more like
I listened to Bernie Sanders, and for the life of me, I've listened to him over the years. I've never heard him campaign for no prisons, no police, no borders, and pro-Hamas. I've heard him talk about Medicare for all. I've heard him talk about raising the minimum wage, and I give him some credit. We've seen the minimum wage increase over the many years, and he's been saying that for a while. But if he firmly believes that the economic anxieties of the country, particularly Democrats and independents alike, are going to be addressed and satisfied, because the American people are not being ambiguous at all about what they want. They want lower prices. They want not forever wars. They want their kids to have better futures and an opportunity to achieve the American dream. No prisons, no borders, pro-Hamas, no Senate, none of that I've ever heard Bernie talk about. So in some ways, I feel bad for him because he's embracing people, embracing ideas that he knows has no place in the American political system. But here's where I have to be critical. Senator Sanders, you have to denounce that. At the end of the day, for us to get to where we want economically, your ideas and my ideas, we differ. I think we should have no taxes on the first $75,000 for people who work. I think we ought to end the president's tariffs to lower prices. I think we ought to give kids who have perfect attendance in public schools each semester another $500 for their Trump accounts or whatever we want to call them. I'm not for Medicare for all, but you know what? I don't believe you're for no police. I don't believe you're for no prisons. You are better than that. Those on your side who believe in those things, stand up against those who are going to undermine our ability to win. You said it best. Jenny, you said it best. We're 15 points behind with the fellow in Michigan, who probably is a nice guy, but he doesn't deserve to be in the U.S. Senate if he can't win. Haley Stevens, this is not a campaign. This is not an ad for her. My only point is, in order to do the things we want to do on the economic front, we have to win. And people who are advocating for no prisons, no police, no borders, eliminate the Senate, and pro-Hamas, that's not what the majority of the American people want. If we nominate those people, Greg, I know we may differ around the table, my party, where we all stand on some of these issues. We Democrats will deserve to lose if these are the people that we put up to run in the fall.
You know,
you're on fire.
Yeah, he is. I love when Harold has
I want to prevent us from making this mistake.
I love when Harold has a bee in his bonnet. It's very inspiring.
I think Tarloff's going to have a full-time job around 2027, huh? Bye-bye, Harold. Then we're going to have to start taking him apart. We have secrets. I just saw a video of you at the break that was very incriminating.
Me diving into the
yeah.
Gino.
So Kennedy, he's talking about you got to denounce these things, but there are three things that we know the Dems haven't denounced. Mm-hmm. The trans stuff, the open border, sanctuary city stuff, and a lot of the crime stuff. They still they haven't grown the cojones to even create a policy for these things.
No, and because of that, they have created this giant fissure, this chasm within their party that, I said it the other day, it is becoming insurmountable. And I look at Bernie Sanders like a cult leader, because that's what he is to the Democratic Socialists, because they are all in on emotion. They not only do not have a rational capacity, they despise anything having to do with rationality, because rationality represents objectivity. And objectivity means math. Objectivity means black and white. It means binary choices. And they despise that. Everything has to be subjective. It has to be about your feelings. And they pin all of that on their cult leader, Bernie Sanders. And, you know, it's like, say whatever you want about him. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he's also got a massive ego on him. And he wants to maintain his spot as the kingmaker. He needs to, for whatever reason, because Bernie Sanders, and I speak from experience here, he's like a woman in her 50s, still super hot, doesn't care, doesn't give a spit about anything or anyone's opinion, but he wants to be beloved. He wants to be the guy in the party who inspired an entire generation of ding-dongs to shred the Constitution, because it's not just getting rid of the Senate, it's getting rid of the Supreme Court and the president. So what are you left with? A bunch of Cory Bushes. God help us all. Yeah. And you think these knob jobs who are sitting here farting out talking points for the DSA can replace the intellect of James Madison and Alexander Hamilton? How dare you? Wow. Alexander Hamilton.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.